Hi, this is Edmund Ng. So in this video, I'll be sharing about the Wuhan Novel Coronavirus Pneumonia, biowarfare conspiracy, and alternative treatments that nobody wants you to know. So people always choose to believe whatever they choose to believe. And Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda chief, used to say this: repeat a lie often enough and it becomes the truth. And perception is reality. What Adolf Hitler is trying to say is that if you repeat a lie 10,000 times, it becomes the truth to most of the people. So I've got an important disclaimer to make. So basically, I've got nothing against citizens of any countries. I'm only against the evil regimes as well as evil conspirators of the countries that are being featured in this film. So let me share a little bit about my background. I've been researching conspiracy theories, religions, extraterrestrials, ancient civilizations for the past 20 years. These are the books that I've actually written. So let us explore what will be covered within this video. Okay, there are 5 main things. Okay, what is the main killer of coronavirus? Okay, who is behind the coronavirus? Why they did it? Are there ways to actually boost your immune systems to actually fight against this coronavirus? And by the time you finish this video, I assure you that you'll be able to connect most of the dots, right? This is a little bit long. The video is around 40 over minutes. Okay, I tried to make it shorter, but I didn't realize it was going to be so long. Okay, so what is the main killer of the novel coronavirus? Okay, so just some background info. A lot of people are saying that it came from this seafood market from Wuhan. Okay, but basically I'm telling you that this is a misdirection, because right now nobody can confirm how the person actually got infected, right? And from the sources that we are getting, apparently only one person was infected through an animal. Okay, one person was infected through an animal, and right now nobody knows what kind of animal it is. It might not be an animal. Okay, there are a lot of possibilities. So let's explore what are the possibilities. Okay, and right now, just yesterday midnight, the Chinese government has just came out with a new term called Novel Coronavirus Pneumonia. Okay, NCP. So what happened is, when they were actually going through all the different patients that died of this novel coronavirus, they realized that everybody has got one thing in common. Everybody was suffering from pneumonia symptoms. Okay, so basically pneumonia symptoms includes things like immune disorder, autoimmune disorder, and normally in the pneumonia situation, the victim's own immune system attacks the lungs, causing inflammation and scarring. Okay, so basically what happens is this: the virus attacks the body. It can be the bacteria or some form of viral infection, and then this infection will actually trick the body into thinking that it's being attacked by external threats, so especially for the lungs. And then the body will start to actually produce these antibodies. But the problem is, for autoimmune disorder, the body actually produces excessive antibodies, and these antibodies will cause the organs like the lungs to be flooded with water. Okay, so this is the situation right now. I'm not an expert in pneumonia, so basically if you want to find out more details, you can Google Dr. Sherry Tenpenny. She's an expert in vaccines. And why do I refer to her is because vaccines has been closely linked to pneumonia. Okay, a lot of times when you take a look at seasonal flu shots or flu vaccines, when we kind of explore, try to see what is contained within the vaccines, right, you realize that you find a lot of chemicals such as mercury, squalene, and thimerosal. So this substances, these chemicals are all very, very bad for the body. It causes cancer, organ failure, and a lot of other side effects. Okay, so who is behind the novel coronavirus, right? So basically there are a lot of a number of suspects. So let's go through one by one. Okay.
This film is intended to give you an idea of what Cauldron was like. I'm not going to talk about the trial's results, which you can read about in the report, but just try and give you an idea of how we did things. The normal ship's supply of distilled seawater was used. Water bottles being fixed to the guinea pig trays, each of which held 8 pigs. We had room for 2,400 pigs and 100 monkeys on the clean side, and the same in the dirty hold. The monkeys lived in individual cages. Dirty compartment to collect gear such as met instruments, finish their dressing. Where the animals that have been exposed are stowed in racks. The body first clipped onto the table with its identifying number on the paper underneath it. Passes to the first man, who lays back the skin. The third man takes a snip of spleen. The procedure, of course, depends on the disease you're looking for. The plates are handed by a man working from a side bench. Some final post-mortems to do. The dirty hold had to be thoroughly decontaminated, and there were stores to be packed for return to Porton.
So basically this Operation Cauldron is a project from the UK back in 1952, right? So they are one of the prime suspects of the novel coronavirus. Okay, but let me also show you who are the others, right? We have the Plum Island Animal Disease Center, as well as the Duckway Biowarfare Lab. Okay, so let's take a look at my book. So basically I wrote this book called The Forbidden Secrets, right? So this is how the book looks like. You know, I used to sell this book for like $30 US, right? But then because right now the situation is quite drastic, as in a lot of people are dying, and that's the reason why I decided to actually give out the book for free. So basically anybody can go to my website and download the book for free, right? So basically it covers a lot of different things, right? But before I go into Plum Island and the biowarfare stuff, right, I want to share with you things like, you know, the man-made viruses, etc. So as you know, in terms of viruses, like any viruses that you can think of, whether it's Ebola virus, you have like SARS, you have Ebola virus, you have anthrax, you have AIDS virus, H1N1, you know, and all these different viruses. You can tell that all these viruses were man-made, and I have got a lot of proof, right? Before I go into that, you know, back in World War II, Japan has got this division called 731 that was doing all those biowarfare experiments, right? And then the AIDS is kind of man-made as well, right? We have all this evidence of people actually register the AIDS virus. Okay, when you talk about the H1N1 virus, okay, the first outbreak was in April 2009. Okay, this is April 2009, and then the best part is in April 2009, and then back in August 2008, right, there were already people like filing for the patent, right? You can see the patent was filed 28th of August 2008. Okay, the first outbreak was 2009 April. So clearly it's man-made, right? Because why does these people register the patent? Is because once they register the patent, any other company that wants to actually register, want to create a vaccine, have to pay them some form of royalty. Similarly, when you look at the coronavirus, likewise, somebody actually filed for a patent as well, right? Yeah. So basically, that's a scary part, right? You can see it covers all sorts of different strains, you know. Okay, so basically, like all those Ebola, SARS, and all this stuff is all man-made. Basically, all these facts are here. Okay, so you can download the book and you can actually take a look there. And then you talk about vaccines, also quite scary. But let's go to Plum Island. Okay, so this is how Plum Island looks like. Right, they call it the Plum Island Animal Disease Center. Okay, so let's take a look at what's happening at this Plum Island. It's like a horror show. So there's this famous, you can go to Google and you can Google this search term called Montauk Monster, right? So you can see all these pictures of the Montauk Monster at the Long Beach. Long Beach is somewhere near to this Plum Island, just opposite, right? So apparently they were doing some form of biological experiments on all these animals, you know, mutations of animals, you know, genetic experiments. Pretty scary, right? Let me show you what's even more scarier. Okay, these are all real photos, Okay, so this is a hidden footage that was being taken within the Plum Island facilities. So apparently in Plum Island they're actually developing two kinds of bioweapons. One is actually the ticks. One is this mosquito, right? So they're actually developing solutions whereby bioweapons whereby they can use these two carriers to actually spread the disease. Because basically if you have mosquitoes and ticks that are actually spreading all this disease, right, and you let go of them in the public, how are you going to track? It's very hard for anybody to trace back to them, right? And that's the reason why you have countries like China, Russia all accusing the US of being behind this coronavirus, right? So what happened is, there's this thing called hand, foot, mouth disease. Okay, so back in 1978, when nobody in the world has heard about this thing called hand, foot, mouth disease, okay, there was this outbreak within the Plum Island facilities, right? Of course, there's one big outbreak in UK as well, So apparently, what that means is probably because the first outbreak happened at Plum Island Research Facility, chances is you guys were actually playing with fire and you guys actually created this virus. Okay, this is how a tick looks like. So when they actually suck blood and all those things, they can actually carry almost like I think 20-30 times their actual weight. Okay, this is a tick infection, so scary. So basically, if I really want to spread the disease, right, I can actually use the ticks or mosquitoes as agents, right, and then I infect them with the coronavirus, and then these viruses can go to animals, and then after that go to your pet or whatever, or somebody can get bitten by mosquitoes, and that's the reason why there are some people who hasn't been to China, hasn't been to Wuhan, has no contact whatsoever, but somehow or rather they are infected. Is there a possibility that the US, right, and their allies are actually going around behind the scenes actually releasing all this coronavirus in the public using agents like ticks or mosquitoes, right? So let me show you this video. Okay, so let's take a look at this video. So just now I was showing you the different scenes from this Plum Island. So once you see this video about Dugway, you'll be able to connect all the dots instantaneously.
In 1968, about 6,000 sheep died near this government facility. They were poisoned by a chemical weapon named VX. The US hasn't been known to actively use VX in combat. In fact, it's begun destroying its stockpile of chemical munitions as part of a UN treaty. But it's just one of many strange and secretive experiments that happened within these walls. Experiments on sheep, mosquitoes, and even civilians. About 85 miles southwest of Salt Lake City is the US government's top secret bioweapons lab. It's called the Dugway Proving Ground. The 77-year-old facility covers about 800,000 acres. That's just a little larger than the entire state of Rhode Island. And it tests some of the deadliest chemical, biological, radiological, and explosive hazards on Earth. The 1950s, for example, saw the launch of Operation Big Itch, an experiment that was testing weaponized fleas.
Sounds familiar?
The fleas weren't infected with any type of disease or agent, but experimenters were working with thousands of them, and the fleas were dropped in cluster bombs.
Scary, right?
To gauge if they would survive the fall from an airplane. And this was only part one. Dugway launched a second experiment called Project Bellwether in the 1960s. Only this time, mosquitoes were injected with inert diseases, inert bacteria, and inert viruses.
Such as dengue, right?
Those mosquitoes were released upon several groups of human volunteers who were bitten again and again during the trials.
You see, so basically for US, they will test it out not just on foreign countries, their so-called enemies, they will even test out on their own people, right? On their own civilians, etc. Scary.
And there are records dating back to the late 1950s, which describe experiments that used infected mosquitoes. And those are just two experiments known to the public. Exactly what goes on at Dugway is, well, pretty unclear. And that's not by accident. The Smart Man Laboratory Facility, which houses the Smart Man Dummy, a model that's used to simulate human contact with chemical agents, including the infamous VX nerve agent. Specifically, the Smart Man helps the lab develop more effective individual protection respiratory equipment, essentially gas masks and the like. A variety of chemists, chemical analysts, and technicians work on site, and the use of airtight chambers and gas masks is not only common, but mandatory. Despite all of this dangerous experimentation, the work done at Dugway hasn't always been properly contained. Remember that sheep incident? That marked the start of a worrisome track record. It happened when overhead planes spewed out the nerve agent into the wind, accidentally sending it into nearby farmland in Skull Valley. Within the next couple of days, farmers found thousands of sheep dead in their fields. The Army compensated the farmers and lent them bulldozers to bury the sheep. But the accident sparked a whole debate on the use of chemical weapons in warfare. Adding on to these questionable practices, a 1994 Senate hearing on veterans' health focused specifically on Dugway veterans and civilians. A report found that people at Dugway were exposed to biological and chemical simulants believed to be safe at the time, but that the Army had later stopped using many of them because they realized they were not as safe as previously believed. One veteran, who was accidentally sprayed in the face with the chemical DMMP in 1984, found himself wheezing and coughing the next day, symptoms that ended up lasting several weeks. Despite this, he was given only cough medicine and antibiotics by the Dugway Army Hospital. The Dugway Safety Office assured him that the chemical was safe, but by 1988, officials at Dugway had re-evaluated the simulant's danger and were concerned it could cause cancer and kidney damage. In 2011, the facility slipped up again. It went on lockdown after workers lost a vial containing the VX nerve agent. Nobody was permitted to enter or exit the facility, not even the employees. And in 2016, the CDC and the Department of Defense launched a major investigation when a review team found that Dugway had been operating dangerously for several years without the government's knowledge. USA Today reported egregious failures by the facility's leadership and staff. The report singled out the head colonel in command at Dugway, Brigadier General William King. The Army's accountability investigation recognized King as unqualified, lacking the education and training to effectively oversee biosafety procedures crucial to Dugway's operation. The report admonished him, saying he repeatedly deflected blame and minimized the severity of incidents. It even says King fails to recognize how serious the incidents truly were. And how serious were the incidents exactly? Well, under King's command, the facility mistakenly shipped live anthrax to other labs. And not just once,
Live anthrax, huh?
times,
Yeah.
for over a decade. That same report revealed that workers had been regularly and deliberately manipulating data in important records. Records meant to verify that pathogens being transported elsewhere were killed and safe for researchers to handle without protective gear. Still, the facility's shady past.
So why do I feel that the United States is the prime suspect? Okay, there are a few reasons. Okay, first of all, they are involved in a lot of this very secret biowarfare experiments, and then they have the track record of shipping pathogens, right, via incidents, and also they are ruthless enough to even test it out on their own citizens. Okay, and why is it that the United States is actually attacking China? So what happened is the United States don't just attack China. They are attacking any country that they feel are a threat to their status, right, as the world's leader. So basically in the 60s you have the Russia Cold War, and then after that in the 80s and 90s, you know, at that time Japan was the second largest economy in the world. So how did the US actually attack them? The US attacked them by weakening their currency against the yen, right? Making the yen extremely strong. So when it's extremely strong, it made it really difficult for the Japanese manufacturers to ship out their product, because it wouldn't be as competitive as the as the US products. That was the main reason why all of a sudden this Japan's slump to their worst recession over those years, right? And then they were saying they lost 20 years. Basically that's about it, and that was how the bubble busted in Japan. So after that, in the 80s and 90s, you have this economic sanction against the Russian Federation as well. And in 2003 they did it against Iraq. So basically what happened was that Saddam Hussein was proposing to the Middle Eastern countries that they should use euro for their oil transactions. So as you know, the US dollar is the reserve currency of the world. The reason is because for gold and oil is actually pegged against the US dollars, right? So those people who understand economics, who know that, you know, the US dollar is actually a fiat currency, right? And then the way they are printing money is like playing a monopoly, right? They just keep on printing. But then somehow or rather, people around the world have to foot the bill. The reason is because they are the reserve currency, and when people are buying oil and they are buying gold, etc., they need to exchange. They need to buy the US dollars in order to actually fulfill the transaction, right? So that was the reason why Iraq was attacked. So in 2011, similarly, Gaddafi tried to propose an alternative oil currency between Gulf nations, right? So what happened? He got attacked as well, right? And got killed. So ongoing, you have this economic sanctions against Russia, Iran. And why is it that they are against China? Is because, you know, this China has got this Belt and Road Initiative where they are going around the world making friends with everybody, right? And then they are forming the alternative Silk Road. So that actually threatens US leadership of the world, and that is one of the reasons why they're actually using this coronavirus outbreak as a way to actually create negative publicity. Why? Because right now a lot of people, when they see Chinese, it's like as if they saw some ghosts out there, you know. So they are avoiding the Chinese citizens, right? So this is like a propaganda, right, which they did pretty successful, right? So right now I'm going to show you, like I promised, how you can actually improve the system and fight against this novel coronavirus pneumonia. Okay, first of all, you try to drink a lot of water, right? And because normally it's advisable that you drink like 8 glasses of water, right? But then you try to maybe drink 10 to 12 glasses of water, and then when you're passing out your urine, make sure that the urine is crystal clear. And then after that, when you pass out the urine, you don't see a lot of bubbles. If there's a lot of bubbles, means probably you drank the sugar content is still a lot. So it's only when your urine is clear, it shows that your body system actually managed to filter out all the rubbish effectively, right? And then I want to show you this video about the miracle of water by Dr. Masaru Imoto. Okay, so basically let's take a look, and then subsequently we will show you another video called the impossible rice experiment.
Photo is of water being exposed to the Kawachi folk dance. This photo shows the effect of heavy metal music on the water. Here now we can compare the effects of healing versus heavy metal music and what happens to the water molecules. Mr. Imoto decided to see how thoughts and words affected the formation of untreated distilled water crystals by typing words onto paper and then taping this paper onto glass bottles overnight. This photo shows the effects of the words, "Thank you." This next photo shows the effects of the words, "Love" and "Appreciation." This photo shows the effects of the words, "You make me sick, I will kill you." Here we can compare the effects of "thank you" with "you make me sick, kill you." Very, very different geometric forms being incurred through the intention. Now this photo is very polluted and toxic water from the Fujiwara Dam. Here now is the same water from the Fujiwara Dam after a Buddhist monk had offered a prayer over it. Prayer, that sound coupled with intention, seems to have an extraordinary ability of restoring water to its natural, harmonious, geometric symmetry.
So what I want you to do is not to just drink the water blindly, okay? So when you're drinking the water, give thanks and appreciation and gratitude to the water, right? Because 80% of the body is actually made out of water. So you try to thank the water and try to send positive thoughts like, "Thank you, water. I think that I love you, or I hope that you can make me well." Especially if, let's say, you're right now suffering from the disease, right? I'll show you another video which is even more significant, okay? So you have a better idea of what I'm trying to say. Okay, this is another experiment, okay? And this guy was actually doing experiment on the rice. Okay, so let's take a look at this video.
The late researcher Dr. Masaru Imoto conducted a study lasting many years to see if human consciousness can affect the molecular structure of water. In his research, he exposed water to different words, pictures, and songs, and then froze the water to examine it with microscopic photography. The water exposed to positive speech and thoughts resulted in beautiful crystal formations, and the water exposed to negative speech and thoughts gave ugly crystal formations. Granted, his research has been criticized for both right and wrong reasons. Personally, I keep an open mind. The rice experiment I'm about to try, it's not a very scientific approach, obviously, and it doesn't really prove anything. But it's a very interesting experiment nonetheless, and it seems to be working every single time. Since rice absorbs water when you cook it, you can basically conduct the same research Dr. Masaru did. I approached the experiment by purchasing 3 brand new glass containers. I cooked some rice and added the exact same amount of rice in each container. And every day for about 2 months, I'd spend 60 seconds per container telling them either negative or positive things. The container marked love. I'd say nice things such as, "You're awesome," and "I love you." And to the container marked hate, I'd say horrible things such as, "You don't deserve to live," and "You make me sick," and "Go and kill yourself." And the container marked ignore, I do just that. It's been about 9 weeks now, and it's finally over. And I'm happy to tell you that it's a success. Alright, and this is what happened. Alright, so the container marked with love it's in quite good shape. It's a little yellow, but I'd probably eat it. Alright. And the container marked hate it's in bad shape. Alright, this is quite disgusting. There's no way I would even touch this. The container marked ignore it's in better shape than the container marked hate, but it's still quite disgusting. It's actually quite surprising because I thought that the container marked ignore would be in the worst shape of all.
So basically, you've seen how powerful this video is. So basically, not just when you're drinking water, when you're actually eating your food, your lunch, your dinner, right, your rice or whatever, your pasta, try to give gratitude, thank the meal, etc. Right, and this will definitely make your life much better. And then try to send out more love, more positive thoughts, to your friends, etc. If you have somebody that you have hated for the longest time, just try to forgive. Forgive all those things, because you're setting yourself free by doing that. So I want to give thanks to MUR for the last video, the impossible rice experiment. So it gave us a different understanding onto the research that was done by this Dr. Masaru Imoto. So remember to give gratitude. Okay, so are you ready for the finale? Okay, let me show you what is the most powerful way that you can boost your immune system. Okay, and that is to practice Falun Gong. Okay, so before I share more about Falun Gong, let me show you this video. Okay, and let you decide for yourself.
美国临床肿瘤学会年会日前在美国芝加哥举行，超过3万名肿瘤专家参加会议。一篇关于癌症末期的病人修炼法轮功以后而改善健康的研究论文在大会中发表，引发医学界的关注。
这篇关于中国癌症晚期病人因修炼法轮功而改善健康的论文，是大会中唯一研究气功与癌症治疗的论文，受到与会人士的关注。 美国知名医学杂志《Cure》也对这项研究的作者进行了专访。论文的作者之一，瑞士诺华制药公司的董宇红博士表示，他们对152例预计存活时间不到1年的癌症末期患者进行研究，发现这些患者原本平均预计存活时间只有5.1个月，但在修炼法轮功后，实际存活时间却增加到56个月，延长了10倍以上。直到研究完成时，有149位患者还健在。此外，97%的患者在修炼法轮功后，癌症症状消失，而且患者的平均见效时间只有1.3个月。
肿瘤病人他们出现身体的改变之前呢，往往都会有一些心理观念，还有情绪和精神上的改变。那这个与当今的比较热门的精神神经免疫学的研究发现是一致的。
不仅如此，这些患者在修炼法轮功后，生活品质也得到显著改善。
光是身体上有改变，他们的这个精神和这个人性质、性格、性情都发生了改变。那具体表现在就是他们的就是想问题更加的正面，更容易看到阳光的一面。
董宇红表示，尽管法轮功不是为了治疗癌症，但研究证实，修炼法轮功确实可以显著延长癌症病人的生命，使症状得到缓解。新唐人记者林冲，美国芝加哥报道。
Okay, pretty amazing, right? Okay, let's take a look at the next slide. Okay, so basically, let me just summarize what happened in the video. So Dr. Dong Yuhong, okay, she's an employee of Novartis, okay, and then she did a research on cancer patients. So what happened is she took on 152 stage 4 cancer patients, meaning patients that were actually given less than 1 year lifespan, okay, and the average lifespan of all these patients were on average was only 5.1 months, okay, that was their average lifespan that the doctor actually gave them. And after practicing Falun Gong, their life expectancy increased to 56 months, meaning from 5.1 months of lifespan, right, less than half a year of life, their life expectancy increased by 56 months, right? So easily around 10 times. And the most amazing part is it took only on average 1.3 months to cure the cancer completely. We are talking about this extreme cases where, you know, like stage 4 cancer, you know. And then the most amazing part is when they did the study, it was for almost like 4 to 5 years, right? So at the end of the study, only 3% died, right? And then the other 149 of the patients, they were still alive, right? So pretty amazing stats. That means you have a success rate or cure rate of over 97%. Okay, so let me just correct you a little bit about the thinking about Falun Gong. So basically what happened is, if you have heard that Falun Gong is a cult, right? If you have heard that, chances is you have been brainwashed by the Chinese Communist Party. So I'm from Singapore. So back in 1999 to 2000, there was 1 year when Falun Gong was actually banned in Singapore, right? But subsequently they lifted it up because they realized that it was just baseless allegations from the Chinese Communist Party, right? So first of all, Falun Gong is a spiritual movement. Okay, it does not operate like a religion. You come and go as you please. Okay, nobody gonna ask you whether you're coming or not. No, you come and go as you please. All the books, all the videos are available for free for download. Okay, meaning you don't need to actually pay any money to actually learn the exercises, right? But this video, I don't want to make it a video about Falun Gong, but I'm just trying to share with you that the Falun Gong exercises are really effective. Okay, why is it that it's effective? I can share with you some of my from my own perspective. All right, because as a cultivator, what we are being taught is this, because a lot of people, a lot of cultivators out there they spend like 10, 20 years or 30 years or even their lifetime trying to cultivate and try to attain enlightenment, etc. But when they perform meditation. So what is the highest level of meditation? Right, at the highest level is actually self-reflection, right? Meaning for Falun Gong practitioners, whenever we come across any problems, we try to take a look from within to find out, okay, what's wrong on our part. Okay, so that's self-reflection. That is even at the basic level, when you go into Falun Gong and you study the teachings, right, it actually really covers that. But a lot of people, even for their lifetime, when they're actually seeking cultivation, they don't even realize, because I've been asking a lot of high ordained monks, when I ask them like what's the purpose of cultivation, some of them they can't even tell me, what's the purpose of meditation, etc. So it's a very, very deep subject, but all the links I'll just provide at the description part of the video. So let me share with you my end of video summary and thoughts. Okay, first of all, we try not to be judgmental on the Chinese citizens, right? Because basically we all live on the planet, let's be kind to one another. And I just want to do a shout out to the China Communist Party, because as much as it seems like the US government is actually behind all this coronavirus attacks, I must say that as a cultivator, we believe in karma, right? So everything has got its there's this the law of cause and effects. So because in China, the Chinese Communist Party have actually done a lot of injustice, right? Especially with the lockdown of the Falun Gong practitioners, the organ harvesting, right? As well as the lockdown for these Tibetans and Uyghurs, right? Uyghurs. So I hope that they will free them and allow them to actually practice Falun Gong in China. Okay, so I just want to end this with a quote. Okay, first they came for the socialists, and I did not speak up because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak up because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak up because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Right? The reason I've actually created this video because I find that right now is a life and death situation. Right? I hope that you can help to spread the word by sharing this video. Please share this video link to all your friends in China. Okay, please share this video to anybody that has been infected with the Novel Coronavirus Pneumonia. Feel free to download my book for free, right? The Forbidden Secrets. You can download it for free. It will help you to connect all the dots. Okay, and all the links to the cancer research for Falun Gong, as well as the links, the videos to this Dr. on this miracles of water, right? It's all the links are below. Okay, so if you feel that your condition has been improved, feel free to actually you can just pray for me, or send some great blessings, or feel free to support my channel in any way by liking this video, right? Or make any form of donation, right? So thank you. Please help to share the word. Thank you. Bye bye.